Well, good evening. This is Dr. Craig White, and this is another Turbo Tuesday. Well, as you can see, I'm outside today, and I'm out here because I'm really in sort of a contemplative mood, doing this thing in a contemplative manner. Got a lot on my mind. We will come back and continue in our series in Ephesians on next week. But today I just sort of want to talk with you about some things that have really struck me today. We had, in our ministers' meeting today, we had some candidates come by, talk with us, share with us their particular platforms and things of that nature. Of course, those of you that are aware, we've been involved, intricately involved in the battle against Senate Bill 202 and working towards strengthening this fight against voter suppression. We know that it's not God's will that we be in that condition. It's not God's will that we allow the enemy to force us into not having a voice. And so I want to really challenge the kind of things that put us in a position where we're not being what God wants us to be and doing what God wants us to do. I want us to be a people of influence. I want us to be a people that have a voice that makes a difference. And so we're fighting, we're battling. I did an interview with some people on our case this past week, and I guess there are just some things that we can't take for granted, some things that we must be passionate about, some things that we must fight to the very end. And we can't ever give up. We can't ever give up. We can't ever act as though there's nothing left for us to do. There's always something else for us to do. We've got battles that are going to take us to higher heights, to deeper challenges. We've got to deal with people who think that we are insignificant. Well, I could go on, but we've got a lot to fight against. And so, as we address this issue today, the thing that has brought it to my mind is the fact that one of the candidates today said something. She chose to use as her platform the words of the late and great mayor of Atlanta, the late Mayor Maynard Jackson. When he was campaigning, you heard a lot about the buck, the book, and the ballot. That was one of his great challenges. And as we approach another election season, another time where we have to do the work of God, we have to get out here and help our people, we have to be about our Father's business, I just want to challenge each and every one of us that we have to be just as passionate about that. We have to be just as concerned about those things as our ancestors have been, as our predecessors have been. We have to care. And so I want to take the things that were stated and sort of use them as a launch pad to just sort of discuss with you just for these few minutes why it's so important for us to be involved in the awareness and the development of our people. My dog's neighbor's dog don't want me out here talking, but we're gonna keep on talking anyway. First of all, they talked about the buck. She talked about the buck. And her focus was the economic development and strength of our people. And that's not That's not strange to us as Christians because we know as Christians that we also are concerned about the economic development of our people. As Christians, we're concerned about what people are doing to us, how our finances are developing, how we are evolving. We're concerned about these things as well. In fact, we're so concerned about them that we don't just view them from a financial perspective, but we also view them from a spiritual perspective because the Bible teaches us to be good stewards. The Bible challenges us to be good stewards. The Bible commands us to be good stewards and says that we will have to answer for our stewardship one of these days. And so the buck is not new, and it's not just something that connects to or relates to the political arena, but it's our people. It's the spiritual arena. It's communities. It's society. It's our country. It's our cities, our communities. It's everything about us. We must be concerned about the financial development. Look at where our people are now. We're still amongst the last hired. We're still amongst the first fired. We're still struggling to pay equal taxes in equal neighborhoods. We're still looking not to get shut out of certain neighborhoods because of the color of our skin, because of our political involvement, our ethnic backgrounds. We've got to be aware of the reality that this has not ended. The fight, the struggle, as the people in the young folk in the streets say, the struggle is real. It's real. And so we got to care about the buck. And so we've got to do everything that we can. We've got to be faithful in our support of community. It is a sad reality that so little of the large, extravagant amount of money that we spend shopping as consumers every year, every single year, so little of it goes to the black community. When it comes to a black business, we would much rather spend money on someone else's business than on our own. We've got to support our own communities. We've got to be involved in it. In fact, we're the only people that has to do so much pleading to get our own people to support our own businesses. We've got to do better. We've got to do better. Yes, I hear all the arguments. They charge too much. It costs too much. They're too expensive. And the same people at the same time pay for Gucci and I don't even know all the names of those expensive brands, but they pay for all that stuff. But then when it comes down to supporting our own community, it costs too much. We got to do better. We got to do better. We've got to do better. Stop looking for the hookup every time you go to someone's store who looks like you. Start paying their price. Support their business. Be a part of what they're trying to accomplish. All right? And then not only must we consider the buck, but then she said the second thing on her platform is the book. The book. And she said that she is focused on doing some imaginative or reimagined educational principles, educational approaches. She wants to do some things that haven't been done. She wants people involved. She wants a team of people who have a voice in how our children are educated. And I think, my beloved, that is fabulous. I think that we have to be involved. We simply have to be involved in what's going on with our children, what's going on with our education system, whether it be in lower education, higher education, it doesn't matter. We have to be involved. We have to care. It has to be a part of our agenda, not incidentally, but intentionally. It has to be something that we deliberately and intentionally put on our agendas. We've got to go, parents, to the PTA meetings, the PTSA meetings. We've got to know what's happening with our children in school. We've got to know what's happening with our young people, our college students. We've got to know what's happening with the workers of our community in the school system. We've got to be involved. We cannot sit on the side, shake our heads and say that's a shame and expect it to change. We must be involved. We must be involved. We must be involved. Then the question should come to mind at this point, how? How do we get involved? Well, that's the next part of her platform. She said, not only the book, but also the ballot. The ballot. What are you doing with your ballot? The single most powerful tool that you have beneath prayer in this country to effect change is the ballot. I know there have been some mishandlings, some misuse, some things that haven't gone right, but we don't have a right to complain if we're not using or exercising our right to vote. If you don't go out and exercise your right to vote, first of all, are you registered? Are you a registered voter? Yes, there are some things that have happened. Yes, they've done some things wrong. Of course. Do you know a system in the world with human beings involved that hasn't done something wrong? Get over that. We've got to get involved. Yes, we can make a difference. Yes, we can exact a change, but it's going to take us getting involved, making a difference, being intentional. Register to vote. Learn about voter education. Learn about why the changes are taking place. Learn about gerrymandering. Learn about redistricting. Learn about the candidates that are on your ballot. Learn what it means to vote a straight ballot and just vote all the way down as a Democrat or all the way down as a Republican. Learn what it means to investigate the different propositions and measures that are on your ballot. Learn what it means to be a part of early voting, and you only got a few days left of that. But learn, and then get involved. Get involved. We cannot say, I've tried that last year or the last election. We cannot satisfy ourselves with saying, I tried that last time and it didn't work, I'm not doing it anymore. We must get involved and we must stay involved. Too many of our people shed blood. Too many of our people were beaten and had dogs turned loose on them and water hoses turned loose for the right to vote. Yes, this voter suppression attempt that they're doing, it is indeed a new Jim Crow, and I say that unabashedly. It is a new attempt at Jim Crow. It is a new attempt at making you guess at how many jelly beans are in the jar, how many marbles are in the jar, who was the governor of Alabama in 1812. Yeah, it does all of that, but here's the key. We can overcome it this time, but we've got to get involved. We got to get involved. And so, beloved, I'm pleading with you by way of discussing this. We know that the buck is a part of our responsibility as Christians. We got to be good stewards. We know that the book has to be a part of our responsibility as Christians. We must train up our children in the way that they should go, so that when they're old, they won't depart from it. We know that the ballot is a part of our responsibility as Christians, because the government shall be upon his shoulder. And we know Jesus wasn't coming down here to run for office. So he's talking about us who are Christians getting involved in a valid way to exact change for the benefit of the kingdom. We must get involved. And that's where our candidate ended today. But let me stay true to my convictions and tell you that we can't stop there. We have to add one more, and that's the Bible. The book is good. The book is good. The ballot is good. But above and beyond that, we got to be true to the Bible. We've got to have some spiritual convictions. We got to have some spiritual convictions. We must stay fervent